I finally felt something. If you've been following along this book review journey of mine, you'll know I started reviewing my October reads recently, and I know that by the time this video comes out, I will have already taken a slight break to cover some arcs that I was so graciously gifted to review for all of you. But this is a book from my October reads, and it is time to celebrate because I finally felt a little tingle. I felt a little tingle, just a slight shiver, a slight like, ooh, finally. Alrighty, ladies and gents, today's book I'm going to be reviewing is The Carrow Haunt by Darcy Coates? We're going to go with Coates. I'm going to say it's Coates. Darcy Coates. If you know the pronunciation of the proper last name, comment below so that I don't make this mistake in future books, because I can tell you, I'm going to be reading her again. Thank you so much for watching my review today. If you are new to the channel, I just want to let you know this review will be done in two parts. The first part will be spoiler-free and feature more of my general thoughts on the book, and then I will do a spoiler version, part 2, with plenty of warnings so you don't have to worry and you can click away, ruin my metrics, it's fine. Also, really quick, if you do like the book and you would like to read it after listening to my spoiler-free section, make sure to use the link below to my bookshop.org affiliates to purchase your copy. Not only are you helping give me a small percentage back at no extra cost to you for the book, you can also pick an indie bookstore that you would like to help support by buying from bookshop.org. It's a way to use an online bookseller without having to go through Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And you're just helping a girly out, okay? Keep all these lights on, you know? Help me create content. Alright, so now it's time to read you the synopsis that I wrote for this book. For the past 2 years, Remy has run the local ghost tour in the state's most haunted mansion, a mansion with a bloody past. After the former owner was killed, the killer took his place, convincing those around him that he was the same man, just a little gaunt after grieving his wife's death. Now, decades later, Remy tours the halls and tells the darkest stories to her charges. But after one tour, a man approaches her saying that he wants more. A 2-week stay at the mansion, a ghost hunting team. The only thing is, he can't see doing it without her help. He needs her knowledge about the mansion to help him achieve his goals. How can Remy say no to something so enticing? A chance for her to be more obsessed with the house? And all goes as planned at first. The group sets to their task, they find evidence of the ghost in the house, they hear the door slam, they perform a seance and make contact, but then one of them is found dead. Could a ghost have scared him to death? Or could the man who killed all the people haunting the mansion still hold power over those who enter? Darcy Coates is an extremely prolific author. I did not realize how many books are actually out there, and because I like this one, I am excited to say that I have a very long journey ahead of me to be able to cover all of the books. And at this point in time, I plan on it. Because even though she's not, say, I would say, my favorite compared to T. Kingfisher, who's just an amazing artist all on her own, I think that this is just kind of a cozier, I know, it's weird to say cozy about a horror haunting book, but this to me was just like a cozier, relaxing. I still got a bit of the chill, but I wasn't downright scared. I would definitely say this is more of a 2.5 out of 5 for me, so it wasn't scary for me, but it might be for you. But like I said, I got a little tingle, I felt something, it was exactly the atmosphere I was looking for in October, and it was just, everything was just enough. It was just enough for what I was expecting for a book. It had likable characters, it had some really good twists and plot points in it that kept me interested. The atmosphere was superb, the setting, all of that. I also found that the setting was in a part way unique for the story. Okay, granted, I mean, we're doing the whole locked in a house, can't get out story unto itself, but I liked the idea that this was on a coast, the waves were hitting the walls, there was a grandiose to the house. It was just this beautiful, to me, setting for the perfect situation, and I loved the large cast of characters that Coates put into the book as well, because in doing that, there was some humor, which I am a big fan of, is when you can throw a little bit of humor into books. Downside, though, is the fact that Coates is more of a simplistic writer, and I had a hard time getting into the book originally because of that. And I'm noticing this trend a lot when I'm reading is if the writing style isn't something extremely immersive, sensory details, a specific style, I do struggle to get into a book right away, and I'm learning to give books just a little bit more time. Probably I would say around the 90-page mark when I have just covered so much of the book that I'm then able to kind of forget the writing and start picturing the world and not be bogged down by word choices. Then I can kind of forget that the writing is just okay. And that's definitely the case. And even though the writing was so simplistic and I struggled with that, I still felt the atmosphere. There were moments that I could still really picture what Coates was trying to put on the page, what Coates was trying to paint the picture of. And in that, I still enjoyed this stunning atmosphere and setting that she was trying to present to us. There were great details picked out that I don't know if I would always see other authors pick these kinds of things, but some of the details that were added in lended to it. It's like the references to the axe marks and the wood furniture that was there, some of the choices of the way the pictures were looking, the broken glass windows, little details like that really added up and created this bigger picture. And that was some of the immersive writing that I did get to see going on. And I felt that there were some scenes that existed stronger in the writing than others, and so that helps as well. However, fun fact about this, my moment when things turned around in this book for me and I was all in was the point that the first person dies. That's not a spoiler. I'm pretty sure I read that in the synopsis. So the first person dies. That's when I got into the story. So I guess I just needed a little bit of death to feel at home. What does that say about me? Coates' story was also, original enough. I do see a lot of influences. I do see, Jack the Ripper from, it was during the World Fair. Just the idea of there's this house, if you hear scratching, I'm sorry. My lizard is right there. And she's like, what are you doing, Mom? Anywho, I like to say that the book is original, but I do see influences of other haunting horror stories coming through in the book. But where I do feel that certain things are led on in horror haunted book stories, I felt that some of the twists and some of the touches of the ghost and the sordid past and just kind of realistic points about this house that kept popping up lended to her story feeling more original than I could say other haunted house stories could be. And I also appreciated just some of Coates' choices to go there. There were points that you're like, yes, this is what I would do. Like, why can't we just do that? And Coates definitely took the story there, and that also made it something really, really enjoyable for me because that's what I like. Carrow just had really good payoff in the end. I did not see it all coming. The overall backstory was obvious that, okay, yeah, we knew that was going to happen, especially if you're paying even the tiniest lick of attention to the story. But the twist from point A to point B, now that's the part that I was a little excited for and I did not entirely see coming, and I will say lended to the originality of the story. And my little tangent that I always say, the foreshadowing was there. Even though I didn't see it coming, looking back, seeing the pieces play out together, I can definitely say that I found it to be perfectly believable. Yay! That has been checked off on the list. Thank God, because number one annoying thing, if you're gonna make decisions, give me a reason. Give me a reason. Final points that are spoiler free. I do think that, like I said, the cast of characters was extremely well fleshed out. They all had sparkling personalities that lended to a great amount of humor in the book, and again, was another thing that made the story really enjoyable to read and added to the depth of the overall plotting as well. I wasn't left wanting more. The ending was perfectly explained without going too much in detail, but with giving you a reason why things are happening, revealing all the clues and mystery of the story as well. And lastly, the ending was just too goddamn happy. This is a horror book. Too goddamn happy. I'm warning you. This is a warning. The ending is way too happy. This is a horror story with a happily ever after, okay? So if you're worried or you don't want a book with a horrible dark ending and a horrible thing, well then you're safe with this. And I'm wondering if this is a Coates thing where books are ended happily, because that is what I'm seeing. Alrighty, friends, now I'm going to be entering the spoiler portion. You've been warned. If you haven't read the book yet and don't spoil, click away, ruin my metrics. It is fine. I'll catch you next time, and make sure to check out my other book reviews. Going back to the ending now. It's too nice because everyone goddamn lives. You heard me right, okay? How? How does everyone fucking live? It was very annoying. We go through the grieving, we go through all of that, we go through the pain. The bodies are in stasis, I guess. That is what Coates comes up with, is that the bodies are in stasis and somehow existing in this weird time frame scenario of ghostiness and energy. They were able to lock the soul away in part of the psyche, and then he was able to take them over but slow them down enough that they couldn't be detected as alive. Like, I don't understand, and it kind of annoyed me at the end. If I can make any complaint about this book, is the fact that everyone lived. See, I wanted something different. As much as I wanted everyone to die, though, I was also really happy that everyone lived, because sometimes your girl still also wants a happy ending. It was refreshing. It was sweet. It was a sigh of relief to see everyone alive, to be honest. Fine, I can't believe that happened, but in a way, it left me with a smile. It left me with a good taste for the book, because the ending was happy. Kait, you need to write happy endings. I can't say happy endings anymore. Now let's talk about details. 1, it has to end by fire. Every ghost story of any haunting of this sense where there is witchcraft and dark arts. Witchcraft, okay? Not good, okay? But like, evil. When evil's used and marks are put on the house and all this crazy shit is happening, it has to end by fire, and she does that. And then there are the other little details, like the bleeding house. Oh my god, when they discover that that house is actually bleeding, and it wasn't a pipe break, and it wasn't all this stuff, and that chunks were coming off the house, and the house was bleeding, I loved it. It made the house appear as if it was its own living entity, and that inanimate objects absorbing energy and becoming something more than themselves is one of my favorite things to read about. It adds character, it adds greatness. It also made me think, is the house crying out and sad about how it was used as well? It wasn't the house's fault that it was fucking haunted this whole time and had all this weird shit happen. It wasn't its fault, okay? And so you just kind of grieve for the house too, and you grieve for the house the fact that it burned to the ground, and it had to burn to the ground because there was an evil guy that made the house this horrible place. We're gonna have a moment for the house. I also thought that Marjorie being possessed was a great plot choice. And this is where I am saying I didn't see it coming. But when you look back, you kind of want to smack yourself over the head, because all of it was there. It was all fucking there to show that she was the one, and maybe everyone else got it, and I'm just sitting here staring out into space. My brain's not working right. But clearly, her being possessed by the evil entity was the perfect plot point in the book, and I loved it, and it was a twist for me. Okay, for moi. I was shocked. Well, I think why I was so shocked from it all is the fact that at the time we found out she was the one being possessed, we did not know that everyone was still alive. So we thought that she was dead, and that makes a big difference about all of it. Well, that's all, friends. If you have more comments that you want to talk about, or there's spoiler things that you don't want to talk about below, don't forget to DM me on Instagram at darkside_the_word. But thank you so much for listening to my review. If you liked the review, please give the video a thumbs up, and also to make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like your own copy of the book, use my bookshop.org link below to get your copy, as well as if you're looking for more book reviews, I have a ton listed. I also co-host a podcast where we have a book club and we talk about being creatives in today's current climate. But thank you so much, friends, and I hope that you have a magical reading day.